is Conversation That Matters. We're glad you can join us. Today, Sky is sitting here beside me. Brittany could possibly be on her way, but we'll surprise you if she shows up. So there you have it.
And who are you?
I am Michelle Treese. Love being here. It seems like it's been a while since we recorded, but we're happy to be back and glad you folks are with us.
Yeah. So we've got awesome guests this evening. We're excited to talk to them. We've actually tried to have them like all year long, so I'm glad it finally worked out. We have Ubenibi Afia and Anne. So we'll let you both introduce yourselves however you feel fit. Whoever wants to go first.
Okay. Anne Fellers Mason. I'm currently the executive director of the Heritage Alliance. And we manage all the fun history stuff in town, various historic sites. So I love history and also love theater. So I get to do a lot of museum theater in my current job. And I'm also a published author and playwright. So I love the arts.
Yay. That's great.
Yes. And I am Ubenibi Afia Short. I am a local, singer, actor, who is in love with all of the arts here in the Tri-Cities. I'm a transplant from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Been here 10 years now this year, and I am equally excited to be here.
Fabulous. This is going to be great.
Yeah, so I guess my first question, and I said I wasn't going to jump in, but look, I can't. I really can't. Is how do you know one another? Because you do know each other, right?
We do. Yes. So I knew, because I'm big in local theater. So I went to see a production of, The Little Mermaid at Johnson City Community Theater before the pandemic, and Ubenibi was in it, and she was Ursula, and she was amazing. Ooh. And I was like, well, that actress is amazing. I hope I get to work with her someday. And then when I started putting together specifically my museum theater piece about Nancy, I was like, I need an amazing actress who's willing to help me share this story. And she was friends with Jules Corriere. So Jules introduced us, and it has been like it's an amazing experience ever since.
That's great.
Awesome.
That is great. I think it's so cool when you, there's a couple of people that I know that I'm like, I cannot wait to work with you. And so when you get to work with them, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So how was your experience with Little Mermaid first?
Oh my. It was a bit intimidating because before I played these loving characters, the mother or the girlfriend, but then the villain came up and I had to nail the laugh. The laugh had to be frightening. So I practiced that over and over again. I was like, is this good? And one day I did it. My husband ran up and he was like, who was that? What was it? So I knew that was the one I should use.
Right. That's
cool.
Fabulous. Now I think I missed that play, but did you not get some other accolades about that play?
I did. Our production, that whole cast was amazing. Our production was the first production, even before they did it on television, and the newest production of The Little Mermaid, the theatrical version. We were the first ones to cast a Black Ariel. Yeah. And Jacqueline was phenomenal. She just blew it out of the water. And I was the first Black Ursula too at that time.
Yeah.
So the whole cast got accolades about that production, and it was a really exciting time.
Is there a recording of that somewhere?
I surely hope so. It was recorded. I can say that. Wow. But it's not available to the public. It was recorded for historical records.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Disney's pretty tight on stuff.
The rights. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were Motor Mabel too, right? In their production of Hairspray.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mouth Mabel, and I was the voice of Audrey too in Little Shop of
Oh,
Horrors.
yeah. I didn't see that one.
That's awesome.
Now, which one is Audrey 2? Who is that?
The Plant.
That's the plant.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's
So,
right. That's right. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, I would love to hear you sing that.
yeah.
That was great.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So that is a play I did miss, and I heard all about it, and I heard about you. So that information about Jacqueline,
Yes.
I'd never heard that.
Oh my.
I know. I heard about you.
What's
Yeah.
Jacqueline's
Wow.
last name?
Jacqueline.
Do you know?
It starts with an H.
Did you
I'm
say
so
Howard?
sorry.
Is that what you said?
It starts with an H. I know it's not
Okay.
Howard.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, Jacqueline.
I'll stick it in when I go back and edit this. I'll figure it out.
That's fabulous. And so you guys have worked together on other pieces?
Yeah, we've worked together on Nancy, so several times now.
So tell us about that for those that may be chiming in from
Yeah.
Anchorage, Alaska.
Nancy tells the story of Elihu Embree through Nancy's perspective. So history knows Elihu Embree, a special local history, as the editor and publisher of the Emancipator, which was the first solely abolitionist publication in the entire world, and it pops up in Main Street, Jonesborough in 1820. Has 7 editions, runs through April through October of that year, has about 2,000 subscribers at the time of Embree's death later that year. Now, what's not said as often as that is that, Embree himself, even though he's writing this publication, he's an enslaver till the day he dies. He maintains ownership of Nancy and her 5 children throughout this whole process. Now, he tries to free them in his will. So I really wanted to tell this story from what little we knew about Nancy, because she does pop up in the historical record a few times connected to Elihu Embree in different documents. But gosh, what was she thinking and feeling while all this is going on? So telling that kind of well-known story, but through a different perspective, and just how complicated and messy history, and especially the conversation of enslavement, was. And I knew that I needed an amazing actress to take this journey with me. One who could, tell me when I'm not comfortable doing this, or no one would ever say this, or can we say it this way instead? I needed someone to really help flesh out this story and bring it to the stage. And I could not have asked for a better actress and partner to do that. So, because it's a one-woman show, and it's a hard space to live in for 30 minutes. So, yeah.
Yeah. So what did you think about that?
Well, when Anne first approached me about Nancy, I had a few reservations about it. When I started acting, I said, I will never play a domestic.
Yeah.
I will not be an enslaved person. Mm-hmm. I will be a person of strength, a person who has luxurious things around her. I read the script. And then I started thinking about my mother, who had to pick 200 pounds of cotton before she was able to go to school. I started thinking about my grandmother, who raised 10 children during that time, still having to pick her own cotton. And then I thought about the other people who were just ticks, as cattle, just items. And I said, I've got to do it. I've got to do it for them. What other portrayal of strength can I have but for those women? And Nancy was my opportunity to do that. So I was completely enthralled by first Anne's writing. Her in capturing what little was there and putting it into such a powerful testament of somebody that otherwise would not have had a voice, was just it had to be done. And I was just touched. I was honored to be asked to do it.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think so.
That's pretty amazing, because I think in my head, I saw the play. It was about this time last year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, NAACP, yeah.
NAACP, exactly.
Yeah.
And man, I just sat there like you're in that house.
Yes.
So
Amazing. And I'm, again, when you talk about that little bit of information, what you could find about her to create something like that is incredible. It was amazing. Yeah, lots of really good feels. Angry feels.
Oh yeah.
All kinds of feels. My eyebrows were doing
Feels.
this. And that, and lots of feelings.
Yeah.
So wonderful.
I'm ashamed. I haven't seen it. I want to, and I will one day.
ETSU on January 21st.
Okay.
Ah,
Okay.
you got
So-
Good to know. But what can you tell us about the story of Nancy without spoiling too much?
Yeah. So, I will say the knowledge we have of her comes from first deed of trust Elihu Embree takes out in 1809, because at that time he hasn't had his reawakening in his Quaker faith and come to the decision that, oh no, slavery, enslavement's evil and I need to help get rid of it. So this time he's, actively engaging in buying enslaved people. And he's not always the best at business, so he has to take out deeds of trust. And I think things people don't think about is that, enslaved people were, their money. So they could be used as collateral, like you would put up your house or your car for collateral today for a loan. So he's putting up, his enslaved people as collateral on business loans. So we find Nancy and her kids in that deed of trust. And from that deed, it lists the ages, and we're kind of able to figure out, Elihu Embree and Nancy are about the same age. And then later in his will, when he's writing his will, it's pretty much 3 pages of, oh my gosh, if I die, what happens to Nancy and her kids, because I still have ownership. Just from those, I'll never fully know unless I find like a personal letter what that relationship was. But I firmly believe without Embree seeing the struggle that Nancy and her family was going through, there might not have been an Emancipator, because something happens during these years to make him see that this is wrong and how do I change it? While still being limited by the laws, because he's used people as collateral and you got to pay off those loans. So, so that the play really focuses on that 1 year where Embree's writing this paper, he's putting the money into the paper, but at the same time he has Nancy and her kids and they're a part of his life. And just, gosh, what kind of year was that for her? Because we know that during that year Embree wasn't in good health either. So, that's in the back of her mind too. Gosh, if he dies, what happens to us? So, yeah, it really focuses on that year in 1820 when Embree's writing this paper, and Nancy's and her kids are also a part of that. So,
Now, are there descendants from either of those folks?
I'm sure there are. I definitely know, like, Elihu Embree has descendants. They're not local anymore. They're sometimes in California. He had 7 kids, and then Nancy has 5 kids. So I'm sure there are still descendants from.
And are they local?
Well. I don't know. I don't know. So.
I wonder what their feelings are about the play.
Yeah. I haven't talked to an Embree descendant about the play because they're not really local anymore, so none of them have seen it. But it would be interesting to know, because the speculation always is, are any of those kids that Nancy had, is Embree the father, which is plausible. So.
Yeah. Ancestry DNA.
Yeah.
Certainly a question I had.
Yeah, it's a question I will always have.
So, January the 21st, ETSU?
Yes.
That's what we got.
Yeah.
So, opportunity, the play is going to be at ETSU. Can you give us details?
It's going to be at the Martin Center. I don't know the time yet. We have a meeting coming up soon about it.
Is that scary? I know you've done it. You can handle it.
And what I love about this show, especially like Afia, is like I throw her into I'm like, hey, we're gonna do it in a barn, or we're gonna do it. We did it at Washington College on the stairs in their old dorm on the stair step.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, we did the play there, and then
I saw that. I saw the info that.
Yeah.
First being my Telford.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was like, is she going to Telford?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then. And then we do it at Muncie where we have all this high tech equipment, and I was like, we're out of the barn.
Yeah.
So, and now we get to do it at the Martin Center. So I love that it's flexible and that she's able to bring that passion and put you in that house wherever she takes it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Come down from the rafters in that one.
So,
So do people come up to you afterwards and share like their thoughts and feelings about that?
Every show.
Yeah, and
Every
what do they
show.
say?
Most of them, pretty much what you said. It brought out a range of emotions, and most of them want to know what happens. Where is Nancy? Does she have any descendants? How did you feel doing a part? So,
All of that.
and what they felt during the play, and that they didn't know or realize that happened right in this area.
Yeah.
So those are most of the responses I get.
It's interesting because the whole premise of this conversation that matters it stems from that, because it started off with people saying, "We don't have racism here.
yeah.
What are you talking about? We don't have that." And so we kind of bring that, and there'll be some questions about that. But that's what happens is if you think we don't have it here, and then you're like, "It was down the road.
Yeah,
The house is still there." I don't know if it is or
It
not.
is.
it is.
It is. The Embree house is still there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the house he lived in when he was later in his life with Nancy, but it's his like teenage home. It still stands in Telford today. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in Telford. So that right there it's like in your face.
Yeah.
You have to hear that.
yeah. And it's interesting because, I would say for most part, our first few audiences were predominantly white. And we did have some people who came up after and was like, I came into this really scared because I thought you were going to make me feel guilty for being white. But they're like, no, I learned a lot and I feel bad, but I don't feel guilty, but I want to know what happened and I understand this in a different, better way. So that was good because the people came into it like really antagonistic. Like, you're going to tell me that I was bad and I did this. And it's like, no, we just want you to know how complex it was.
Yeah.
And that, Embree was doing this great work, but at the same time, he was caught in this system. So we're all very fallible.
Man. Now,
Sometimes it's not about you.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
I mean, come on.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Right? But at least they got something out.
They got something out of it.
No, that's good.
They got something
It's
out of
good.
it.
Yeah.
So, but we do a Q&A. So, but I'm really protective of Afia because I know, like, in some of the places we've gone, just because you know what people are trying to say, but it doesn't always come out the way in the best way sometimes. So I'm always really protective of her after in the Q&A. So.
You're like, hold on.
Yeah.
I'll deal with this
Yeah.
question.
Are you finding more people of color coming to your audience?
Yeah, there are some who had seen it before. There were some people of color from Telford who had come. I was shocked too. I was just as shocked. And they came again and brought more people.
Oh, good.
So
Oh, wow.
there's a good intermingling there, and hopefully with the one that we did last year with the NAACP, hopefully word of mouth will get more people of color to come out.
Well, I'm definitely going to push the January 21st one.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
that's pretty
Well,
sweet.
We were supposed to do it ETSU last January, but then COVID reared its ugly head.
Yes.
I got it, and then like the other half of the production team got it. And because their schedule is so tight, that pushed it a year. But
Yeah.
not going to stop us this time.
Yeah.
COVID ain't slow anybody down
Yeah.
this much unless you're really sick. They're like, come on in. Wow. So we mentioned, the whole black-white issue and that part of that. You coming here from Wisconsin,
Yes.
how was that moving into this area?
Well, I thought for sure this would be some, forgive me, some backwoods place that
Yes.
I would not be safe in, and I better have a chaperone wherever I go. But surprisingly and pleasantly, it's a melting pot. It's it's a tiny melting pot. So I get everything that we had in the big city, just more compact and a bit slower.
Oh.
So everyone is so friendly. When our first day here, a woman in a grocery store came up. She's like, "Oh, you look so great," and she gave me a hug. I was like, "Uh-oh, what is happening here? Is this mistaken identity? We don't do that up there." They avoid eye contact up there. So once I got used to that, this is home, and I'm proud to call this area my home. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And I love the people. I had more instances of racism up there than I ever had down here.
Wow. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
We've heard both.
And we've had people
But that person was coming from Alabama.
Right.
Oh my.
And
They said they had more experience of racism here,
Oh.
which is interesting.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
But then
Right.
we've also had that northern thing versus southern thing,
Yeah.
and I can never remember the saying. Michelle, help me out. Where it's like, people act more cool up north with everything, but then like, they're not actually your friend. But down here, there's a little more remnants of the racism thing, but then people will really be your friend. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's
I
a
can't
saying.
remember that saying,
It does
but
not
I
sound good how I just said it. But there's a nice saying that's eloquent for that
I can't remember that.
sentiment.
But I do remember that talk.
And if Brittany comes, she probably knows it. Because she was like, oh, when I lived in Ohio, that was true. That was true. For her. So.
Isn't that funny how that happens, though? So what brought you to the area? Do I want to know?
I honestly think it was divine intervention.
Wow.
I applied for a job in Victorville, California at the phone company. This place called me. Well, Johnson City, AT&T called me, and my husband and I go on road trips. So Asheville was nearby. We looked at the map because I didn't know what a Johnson City was. Never heard of it. Didn't know it existed. I didn't even know there were mountains in Tennessee. So we noticed it was close to Asheville. We said, "Oh, we haven't taken a road trip. Let's go to Asheville. It'll take about an hour to go to this interview. See what it's like." 10 days later, we were moving here because we loved the area so much.
Wow.
And we've
That's
been here
amazing.
ever since.
So you drove from Milwaukee down, and then went to Asheville first, or you knew Asheville, thought, okay, we can hang out there if we get nervous. Over the mountain into Johnson City, and loved it from there.
Loved it from there. We sold off everything in our 3-story home. Packed what was left in a 1995 Chrysler Sebring convertible. And moved here into an extended stay hotel for a week until we found a place.
Wow.
That is an amazing story.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is great.
Now
Where's
this is
your
home.
family?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Mostly Milwaukee. There's Memphis. There's Illinois, Ohio, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
wow.
everywhere.
Okay.
California, Hawaii. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yes. So, and you've been here your whole life.
Oh
right?
yeah, I've been around.
Are you from Johnson City?
I was born in Johnson City,
Okay.
and we moved to Jonesborough when I was 12, but I still went to Johnson City schools
Yes.
all the way
Ooh,
through.
Can I touch you?
So, right here. And like my dad was from here before that. Like he grew up in Jonesborough.
Yeah.
And when you were talking about, kind of that dynamic,
Yeah.
I mean, he, for a while, his family lived on Spring Street actually for a good while. And that was like a hub for the black community because, the Jonesborough Colored School was on Spring Street. But then, he uses the term, he was like, well, and the poor whites were there too. And he was like, that was us. But all of his friends were at the time were black and stuff. But he was like, we couldn't go to school together because there was segregation, but we hung out all the time together. But he was telling me, he was like, but they were parts in the black community that I knew I wasn't invited unless one of my friends was with me. They're like, we can take you there, but you can't go there alone. Yeah. But I mean, they were all, all buddy. It was just like, we couldn't go to school together. So
we've heard that in other conversations too, that a lot of times you even live very close to each other.
Oh yeah, they were side by side.
Yeah. Played, both black and white kids played together. We had stories where they spent the night with each other and things like that. And then there was a point where they had to go to separate schools.
Yeah.
So, you tell. Brittany's in the house.
Brittany's here.
Brittany's in the house.
Hey, Brittany, what's that saying about race relations in the North versus the South? Remember you?
Ooh, what was that?
Yeah, you've told it to me before. If you remember it, say.
Okay. It's with it's like based on separate but equal. So like in the North, it's separate but equal. Like there's very little mixing and things, and like everyone keeps to kind of their own cliques. And then in the South, it's like there's
you're
more
together, but you're not equal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
There's more intermixing and everything because I grew up in New Orleans, and just that area was more integrated with everybody, but you still had like the politics were still very separate and still very
that makes sense.
Villain songs, because I know that.
So we're gonna keep going. So when you were growing up, when did you know about this history and drama thing? Like, that's my thing.
Well, I didn't really actually appreciate history till like 8th grade. I mean, because I can distinctly remember my mom taking me to like Valley Forge and Mount Vernon when I was like younger, and she was like, touch this stairwell because George Washington touched it. And I was like, aren't we going to like aren't we going to Busch Gardens because I would like to go to Busch Gardens. And at that point, I'm thinking out too, like, how many hands have been on here? There's like none of George Washington's DNA left.
Oh gosh.
But I had a history teacher in 8th grade, Mr. Estep at Liberty Bell. About point of the Science Hill though. Who really got me interested in history and looking at it a different way. And it's like, no, it's a collection of stories from people. And I was like, oh. And then I've always been into theater. So really when I got like into college, I was like, oh, I can combine these two. Yeah. So, and from there it was just figuring out how I could do it more. And I'm fortunate at the Heritage Alliance that Deborah Montanti, who was the executive director before me, took a chance on me one day and I was like, can I try this? And she was like, okay, I'll see how it goes. Wow. So, and fortunately it worked out, and it's been fun to find ways to engage people with it ever since, because some people really connect to history in play form in a way they don't in a museum, because it makes it like more like this was a person who had these experiences, who struggled and you struggled, so it makes the past not this scary foreign thing. So
it's funny you mentioned that, because last night I was home with my boys, and my oldest, who's 19, literally went to the Roku, Disney, Hamilton.
I was just gonna say,
sing along.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look at you looking at Hamilton sing along.
I remember when we first watched it on Disney Plus. My son was like, "See, Mom, I told you George Washington was still alive." Like he was. It was so vivid for him seeing.
He thought it was a theater.
Yeah, he thought it was like a live action shot of Hamilton and George Washington. Yeah. But having more people be able to see themselves in that history too, I think that's important. Yeah.
No, that's pretty cool. And now, how about for you, growing up? Tell us about living in Milwaukee.
Yes.
How did you get that bug?
Well, history and I were not very good friends in Milwaukee. I always got in trouble in school because I tell the teacher whenever October came around, Columbus did not discover America. That's like me going outside, getting into a car and saying it's mine. Hello. No, that's stealing. That's not discovering a car. So I got kicked out of history class in high school. I got fired. The teacher handed me a pink slip that said, "You are fired.
Oh, no.
Had this been a job and you consistently caused trouble and not shown up, you would have been terminated. You may not return to my class." So that is the gist of my history.
And was that a predominantly white high school?
Surprisingly, no.
Oh, okay.
No, I went to the High School of the Arts in Milwaukee, and it is in a predominantly black neighborhood. And the teacher did not like history being opposed or being corrected. So I was kicked out. But when I moved here and read Nancy, I thought, whoa, wait a minute. I wonder what else is going through my own genealogical research. I was like, okay, I need to look at the times, look at what was going on, look at who the political figures were, what these people had access to. I didn't get that bug until I came here.
Yeah. What about that?
It is quite interesting. Quite interesting. The things that are, let's say, creatively left out of history.
Yeah.
And it's, I believe it will be corrected. And there's hope.
Yeah.
There's hope.
I think it's making a correction.
Yes.
Slowly and I'm all about slow and steady and set.
Yes.
You know, you can make these fast, and then it doesn't sit, but I want it to sit.
Yes.
And I think that is happening slowly. Slowly. So, did you do drama in college? Did you?
I went to school for opera, for classical music. So I only did voice. I've always wanted to act. I acted in my room to all my stuffed animals. Oh, I was the best. I was phenomenal.
Academy
They
Awards.
loved me.
Academy Awards.
But I dared myself here to go to an actor's workshop. It was at Johnson City Community Theater. And
That's where it started.
that's where it started. And you cannot keep me out of a theater now.
So that was kind of like your first performance, that Ursula and the, what is it? Not Rocky Horror Picture Show, but what was it?
Ursula, I think, was my 4th or 5th performance.
Wow.
My first was as Anne in there was a play called All Shook Up. It was based on Elvis Presley's music. And I played Anne, a bar owner. And, you know, we just did the songs of Elvis, and the bug bit me. It bit me hard.
It does bite you hard. It will bite you real hard.
So have you done any opera in this area?
No.
But that is your thing.
That is my thing. It is.
We're changing that.
I feel like there needs to be more opera in this area. I mean, there's, yeah.
I love
We're
opera.
changing that.
So,
I would love to hear you sing opera.
Oh,
Nancy,
wow.
the opera version?
Yes.
we can make it happen.
That would be amazing.
So,
That would be amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's incredible.
And so you say mostly plays in Johnson City?
Johnson City, Kingsport,
Okay.
Wherever I find something I want to audition
Telford.
for. Telford.
the backwoods of Washington County.
Yeah.
Because when we did Nancy's story at Washington College, you got to drive a little ways to get there. And it was this time of year, so it gets dark early. And I was like, you're going to keep driving, and you're going to think you're lost, but you're not lost.
Wow.
I promise you.
Yes. I had some friends that worked when Washington College was still open as
Yeah.
a campus years ago. That's a drive.
Yeah.
And when I saw Telford, I was like, I had to, because I think something came up and I couldn't go to that one. And then it came again, and I think that's when people were sick. I think they had to cancel it.
Yeah.
But Telford, I was like, wow.
Yeah, and we did it because, the great thing about it is, we've used it as a fundraiser for our educational programs in our museums at the Heritage Alliance, because our museums are free, but they still come with expenses. But with one of the Telford performances with the Telford Rotary Club, we split it as a fundraiser, and it helped them out too. So I like it when, history can also benefit community organizations.
So is there any plans, not to, any spoilers, but are there plans to do more one-act play or one-woman shows?
I mean, possibly. The doors never close, so I'm actually in the process of leaving the Heritage Alliance for the McKinney Center. So, but I still get to play with history and theater there, so I imagine something else will come along. So.
Yeah, I think those are great to have the community plays. My girls even
Yeah.
did the one at the McKinney Center a year ago or so now, and
Yeah, those have been fantastic, those community plays. So hoping to, keep those going in some form or fashion.
Well, I keep hearing Nancy the Opera in my head.
I know, now that's in my brain too. So.
Oh
That's
my
awesome.
goodness. Yes. So let's see. Let's look at our questions here. We talked about history.
Yes.
Schools. I know you were at Science Hill.
I was at Science Hill.
Topper. I was at Science Hill too. We were there for different capacities. But how was Black history for you guys growing up? Was there such?
Well, you got fired from history.
I can't believe that. Oh my gosh. I honestly don't really remember it being a separate thing.
I was thinking when you
It's
were
Science Hill, yeah.
there. What year did you graduate? Do you mind?
2003.
Okay, because I know at one point there was a Black history class.
I think there still is, maybe?
Well, but it stopped.
Okay.
I think probably before you got there.
I don't remember one being offered.
Right. Now that's offered now.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, like, there was a block of time when you were there with no true Black history
No.
class.
I did take, like, the honors and AP courses, which has a more diverse realm of study, but I don't remember, honestly, any specific Black history programming. I do remember stuff for that, specifically around Martin Luther King.
Sure.
And, like, especially elementary school. But getting into middle school and high school, no, I don't.
And now at your school, predominantly School of Arts,
Yes.
how was Black history presented there? Was it just wrapped up in history that you got kicked out of, obviously? Did they give you like a little clip credit or something?
They did not. I had to get that history credit at a community college.
Oh my gosh,
I
they seriously
did.
fired you.
They fired
Oh
me.
my gosh.
It was terrible.
I thought I was bad. I didn't get kicked out of class, but the only reason why I passed my high school history, the only reason was because I could draw political cartoons.
Oh.
I was like, can I get some points?
Uh-huh.
There you go.
At least a D.
Which is fantastic because, Mr. Eastep, who I had for 8th grade, he made cartoons. He took like little history errors and made cartoons out of them, and that also helped me connect. So see, there you go.
That's it.
I'm thinking you were just ahead of your time, because now I think it's like definitely more accepted to tell the truth,
Yeah.
Yes.
or to have the truth come out about things like Columbus and things. And I'm thinking of my daughter who learned about the first person to climb Mount Everest, and it was not the white person who is like listed in all the textbooks. It was this African American man who was helping like carry the pack or something up Mount Everest.
Got up there. I'm here for you.
Yeah. basically, right? So yeah, it's like all that stuff is coming out now.
Yeah.
It's more
Yeah.
the true. It's like history,
Uh-huh.
but who's writing it?
Who's writing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I always like to say it's history is his
story.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it is. It's just like you were saying. It's someone's story and how they perceive that. So.
Yes, and the bulk of my Black history education was in church in February. It's Black History Month. We have to choose a person of color who invented something or someone of notoriety, and I would always choose someone obscure. I didn't want the Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah,
that everybody
favorite
wanted to
spot.
choose, or Benjamin Banneker. I chose or Marcus Garvey.
Right.
I chose the inventor of the traffic light.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
that. I don't know. I can't remember his
Yeah,
name, but I know.
I know.
I
you're talking
see.
about
I
it,
see. Garrett Anthony Morgan. That's
Nice.
his name.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember writing it, and I would just choose the inventor of the refrigerated truck,
Right.
the portable folding chair, and
Oh, that's come full circle.
oh yes,
Yes, it is.
Nice. I didn't know that.
yes,
Good.
yes,
That's
indeed.
good.
So when that whole thing came up, I was like, I know
Oh,
that.
that's awesome.
So I enjoyed that time, and when I was in honors English in high school, we read a book called Jubilee, and I believe it's by Toni Morrison, I think.
The
Jubilee.
same bluest eye author.
The Bluest,
Okay,
yeah, the
so
author
yeah,
of the
Jubilee.
Bluest Eye, which changed my life. The Bluest Eye,
Right.
but yeah, that's church got me
That's
into Black history.
I never had my first Black history class until maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh,
And it was Adam Dixon, who's been on our show, and he just taught a class, and I'm like, Black history?
Yeah.
I'm in there. And every day that I went in, we offered it was once a week for like 6 weeks. In every class period, I cried because I had never learned this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you learn about that handful of people that have invented something.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks,
Uh-huh.
and so many other pieces, you know, that I never heard about. So now I have this beautiful Black history book through Langston that is amazing. It's BH 365, and it is chocked with information. You should get one for your
I
family.
need to, yeah.
Information and enough QR codes on every page that if you stacked all that info, it would be a 6 foot tall textbook. I mean, just amazing. From kings and queens of Africa all the way up to Oprah Winfrey. I mean, you just
my.
don't bring it forward. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's interesting
Wow.
how things shift and we learn more,
yes.
which is pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
I have a question from over here now. And who are other people of color, historical people you'd like to investigate more in this area?
Oh gosh.
You may not even know yet.
I don't know yet, honestly. You know, there's still so much to be uncovered on, you know, Black history in this area. We put together the Heritage Alliance. We haven't launched it yet, but we need to do it. We put together a virtual tour of Black history in Jonesborough. And then, you know, we've been working with a group out of Langston with Dr. Carter, ETSU, who's working on a similar tour for Johnson City that's going to be both virtual and like in print. With the idea that that's going to launch in February of 2024. So, I mean, I know there's so many stories uncovered, and Mary Alexander, when she was still alive, was working with Don Schaefer, who's another local historian, to write a book on, you know, Black history in Washington County, but unfortunately she passed away before it could come together. And he's trying to put it together with their notes, but it's a lot. There's so many stories out there, you know, and every year with like the cemetery play, you know, we get a chance to share some of the stories of the people who are buried in the College Hill and Evergreen Cemetery. You know, like this year we shared Miss Ethel Brown's story, and she was a teacher at the McKinney Center. So I mean, that cemetery is full of stories too that I've barely begun to touch. So yeah, so many.
That's good though.
Yeah, it is good. It is good.
I'm so glad you include, you know, people of color in that spot on the hill.
Yeah.
Because you can spotlight anybody, you know, that's buried out there. You didn't have to choose a diverse group of people. So I really commend and appreciate you for that.
I mean, I will say that the museum theater has been our easiest inroad to diversity in other communities. We don't do as good a job of it in like our exhibits. Our collection is very one-sided, and that's just the nature of when it was collected and how it was collected. And then of course, when you approach other communities, you don't want to be like, hey, we're going to preserve your stuff, but you don't trust us. And historically, people have taken things from you. So, building those relationships is really important to us. And then, like with our other sites, like Oak Hill School is great. And we have, diverse groups of kids who come. But, at the end of the day, when they ask, it was a segregated school. So it was the white school. The Chester Inn was a site of enslavement. So, being able to tell these stories through museum theater has honestly been our most successful means of sharing diverse history and reaching diverse audiences.
Now, share with the group who may not know this, are the museum theater? What's that about?
Museum theater? It's taking historical topics, especially like really heavily primary source based, and creating like either like readers theater pieces or like straight up plays like Nancy is. And, weaving those primary sources through that to present the history in that way. And we did that with Spot on the Hill, too. I rely heavily on as many primary sources as I can. And for people who I don't really know much about, I'm like, when did they live? Who would they have known? What was going on in town at that time? So
Spot on the Hill, how, if someone has never been to that and you want to share, what does that look like?
So that is a play that shares the stories of the people buried in the Old Jonesborough Cemetery, which is Rocky Hill Cemetery, which was a traditionally white cemetery, and then College Hill and Evergreen cemeteries, which were established by the Black community in the 1890s. Before that, the Black community was buried in like kind of the back of Rocky Hill. I mean, the cemetery was segregated, and it was written in the deed that it was segregated. But, now there was a natural boundary there, and we removed that. So you can see the cemeteries one from the other, and we tell the stories together because even though we're segregated, these people are walking town together. They're doing business with each other. So we try to do 12 stories every year in a Spot on the Hill, and we do it in the cemetery. So people come, they bring chairs, they sit, and they listen. And we use that money to help, preserve the cemetery because historic tombstones like to break and get nicks and dings, and they need help too. So, and it's a great way to remember like the people who have come before you. So, what they did.
That's pretty cool. And is it once a year you do that?
We do it once a year in October, like right after the Storytelling Festival.
Oh, okay.
So,
Is the cat fully out of the bag? And
it's pretty much out of the bag.
Okay.
Yeah.
What cat?
You mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, well, then I'm going to the McKinney Center to be their program manager. I am hopeful, because that's not a done deal yet, that I'm going to be able to take Spot on the Hill with me and keep doing that as part of the McKinney Center programming. So.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking like in the future, we have a tradition at the McKinney Center of telling stories through theater, and it, aims to be historically accurate. And Anne will be in charge of the radio show, and that is a monthly way to tell those stories.
Yeah.
So it'll be in good hands for sure.
It's good.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
So
Very cool.
Anne will still be doing this amazing
I will
work.
still be doing this work. I'm very fortunate that I get to still do this work. And I'm very fortunate at the end of the day I get to use all my degrees because a lot of people that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure she uses hers because we're going to make an opera.
Yeah.
I'm going to share this, and we may have to cut this out because I'm letting my cat out of the bag. But I went to this thing in Knoxville. My brother does music, and he was in a choir in Knoxville. And his gospel choir in Knoxville links up with the Knoxville Opera. And they do something called Opera Goes to Church.
I just got goosebumps.
Don't you? Don't you? I am bringing that to Johnson City.
Yeah.
And I already know who's going to sing it.
There you
And
go.
He has, he's got like a 15, 20 person choir. And I think they brought in maybe 5 or 6 people from the opera. And at this concert, at this beautiful church in Knoxville, my brother plays keyboard, and he has like a 5-piece jazz band. So they're bringing the music. Choir will sing. The opera folks are in there singing as well. the opera person will come up, a piano player will do their song, and it was just just immersed, and I'm like, wow, that is amazing.
That's amazing.
Huh?
I'm bringing that to the area. And I know already. I already know. I don't know how big of a scale. Doesn't matter. But it's just an incredible way to bring these two worlds
Yeah.
that you would just never think they would ever be together.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, I did not know you sang opera. I sing opera too in the shower.
Yeah.
That's where I hear my opera sing. I'm a baritone. I go from soprano to baritone. My uncle sang tenor baritone, just that look.
Uh-huh.
And I would go to church with my family, and Uncle Gene would be singing, and I would just be in. And my favorite is the line from The Wizard of Oz, "If I were a king of the forest."
Oh, yeah.
That's the only one I got down pat. So. But yeah, it's so great to be able to merge these worlds that you just wouldn't imagine. History and drama. I was not a fan of history. You know my grades.
So.
But I'll tell the world. I went to ETSU. Went to ETSU Tuesday and Thursday morning, an hour and a half history class.
Oh.
And I'd be like, and I said, I'd rather go to you twice a week than 3. I'll sit there, and I mean, I'm sure my eyes would glaze over, but I had to get that done. It was not pretty.
Yeah.
But to merge that drama with history and all of that.
Yeah. Well, history is naturally dramatic when you get past names and dates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
So.
And I was never I never looked at it as stories.
Yeah.
I think if that had been presented to me,
Yeah.
mine was in 1776. That was nothing to me. Notes.
Well, and that's why I like what my kids' school was doing. They literally built a replica of Jamestown, and they do it every year. And they have like sticks in the ground, and they build this little thing and talk about like the first year or something at Jamestown. And then they cook a meal like they did back then and stuff, and then the whole school goes out there and like tours it. So every year I have to buy like she goes, I need an old-timey dress or something. I need an old-timey dress and apron. We're doing Jamestown or something. But I like, how else can you get them like really interested?
Engaged,
Yeah. And then my college history class, the lady would literally write notes on the board. The entire board. Spend the first 15 minutes writing notes on the entire board.
All cramped up.
And then she would go back to the podium and read.
Oh,
no.
No.
Read the notes that she just wrote on the board.
It's like when people read their PowerPoint to you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And that still happens, I'm sure, in some history classes. And
Yeah, it does still happen.
Pay
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
no. So.
That's pretty cool. I'm thinking again back to I need to we'll probably have to edit this crazy. Like I'm thinking this Nancy the opera. Like, you know, the play Crowns.
Oh gosh, that was
Beautiful
amazing.
play, right?
Yeah.
Nancy, beautiful play. The music that they stuck in that in Crowns are just church songs.
Gospel,
They're already written.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Listen, we got
There's a lot of public domain music, so.
Well, I mean, like all of those emotions that Nancy's going through.
Yeah.
There's a song for that somewhere.
Yeah.
Like
Now,
that song, Freedom. There's a song that says, "Oh freedom, oh freedom, oh freedom over me." And before I be a slave, it can be remain a slave or something. I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free.
Exactly.
That was the very first solo I sang. I was 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And my music teacher, my favorite teacher in the world, Miss Rodona Williams, tapped me to sing that song. And that was the first time I got on stage. And
Wow.
Isn't that simple?
that's all.
It's something.
Now for opera though, it was all Italian, German. No, did you do all the? Because isn't it predominantly
Italian? Mostly.
Okay.
Yeah, we did Italian. We did German songs. We did couple of French songs, but mostly Italian
Okay.
Yeah.
songs. And then there were the Negro spirituals that we did, and we just did a
Okay.
plethora
Nice.
of music.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Now, where did you go to school?
In Milwaukee, Wisconsin,
Okay.
the School of the Arts, all of them were art school. Well, not all of them. There was the Milwaukee High School of the Arts.
Okay.
And then there was Milwaukee Area Technical College, where I had to go to get my history credit.
Right.
And they had an amazing music program there as well. So
Yeah,
that's where I went.
that's fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad Johnson City and Washington County and Jonesboro has that incredible appreciation of the arts.
Yes.
Yes, they really do. Really do. There's this really good, strong art scene here.
Oh,
So
That is
And
that's
it's only getting better.
yeah.
it is only getting better. So yeah,
I
and
was
it rebounded
worried-
from COVID pretty well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I was worried that the Martin Center
Uh huh.
would either be very what's my word, so out of the price range for everybody
Yeah.
that it would have been this kind of an elitist place.
Mm-hmm.
But the plays, I mean, I
Yeah.
bought season passes last year. I was like, I'll buy this set. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
And I went to every one that I went to. Amazing.
And it's great for students too to have,
Yes.
because they discount the tickets for students, or students get so many free tickets,
Yes.
and that's that's an amazing resource to have when you're in school, to be able
Yes.
to go and see that
Across
those
the street.
diverse. Yeah, it's across the street.
Well,
So-
that's how I saw Yo-Yo Ma at UNC.
Oh, wow.
Like student tickets.
Yeah.
And but then of course I had the lady sitting next to me, like, "Are you sure this is your seat?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
Oh.
I'm pretty sure." And she's like, "How did you get this?" Literally asked me how I got the ticket.
what?
Yeah,
I stole it.
Right? I
Yeah.
stole it.
I was like,
None of your business. It's not
Yeah.
yours.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Oh.
So, but
Well,
still,
the
it
other
was Yo-Yo
cool thing
Ma.
is they're letting local plays happen. At
Yeah.
Haints and Hollers.
Yeah.
So, like that makes it even cooler.
Yeah, because we're gonna be doing
exactly.
Nancy there in January.
Oh,
so.
nice.
Right.
Okay, that's cool.
So we're going.
We do. We have to dress up.
And we're doing that one because it's through through Black American Studies
Yeah.
and through the theater department. It's gonna be free
Oh,
to
it
the
is.
public. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
that'd
gonna be
be
free.
cool.
So of course Sophia gets paid for her amazing work.
I was
but
gonna say,
it's gonna be free. So
That's great. Yeah, I'm really excited to see that again. I really am excited. We'll announce it tomorrow night at the Freedom Fund Banquet.
there you
Make
go.
sure- Yeah.
So.
Yes, indeed. Lordy. So, are there any questions that you two may have for each other that you're like, I wonder about this? I never knew that.
I know you sang opera, so I was really bored. So I know you sang, but not opera. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my. No, I just met the cat that was let out of the bag, so and I know you'll do phenomenal
Oh, thanks.
in that
So.
role. I'm excited.
Yeah.
No questions. No, I feel like I can just pop online or give you a call or
I know,
send you a
we're
text
like,
or something
message
like
each other all the time. So it's good because it's been this new friendship, and it's been amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I love it. We're both cat moms.
we are
so-
both cat moms. So
One cat each, or
Uh-oh.
yeah, I was not.
I got 3. How many do you have
Nice.
Uh-oh.
now? I don't-
Now,
She's prepping us for this. Angie.
now, at the house,
2 locations.
there are about 5 on the back porch. It's an enclosed porch.
Uh-huh.
The catio.
Yeah, the catio, that's what we call it.
Catio. Uh-huh.
And there are 7 in the house.
7 in the house.
Oh my goodness.
So
But 4 are ours.
Okay, you're like, what do we babysitting? The others
We-
are fostering?
Our housemate has the other 3.
Okay.
But they don't know the difference.
No,
they
don't.
They just go everywhere
Yeah.
they want to go. So.
Now tell me about the catio ones. Like, I have friends and they have a catio, but they had fostered a cat that had to be separated from their cat. So tell me about this catio.
Well, it didn't start that way. It was just a back porch that was enclosed, and
That's what
our housemate started feeding the cats.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, that's usually how it
they kept coming and kept having babies. So now they get names. They still get fed. They still get water. And they've made
great.
it their little home. So we insulate it during the winter, the colder months. It's a whole thing.
That's great. Now, how many do you have?
I have 3, so
Are they all indoor?
they are all indoor. Yes, I would have more if I have one who has severe anxiety, and that's been a lesson in cat mental health. It's been ongoing for a year now. So
what do they do with anxiety?
well, he chews sore spots in himself,
Oh.
and then he has to go on medicine and be in a cone.
Oh. Those plugins don't work?
We have plugins. Not really.
Plug-in. That makes me
You get
nervous.
it's like cat pheromones
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
we have it, pheromones. He's actually on anti-anxiety meds.
Yeah.
But they told us recently they think it's also OCD. So
Oh,
he's
wow.
just compelled to do it.
baby.
And I was like, how do you
Wow.
navigate that?
Well, let's go back to the plug-in.
Yeah.
So
Is this a plug-in that's got cat pheromones you plug into the wall?
Yeah, and it
yeah,
chills the
we
cats
can't
out.
smell, but they can
Yeah.
smell. It's supposed to calm them down. Yeah.
Oh.
Because I have 2 cats and a dog.
Yeah.
I have
And surprised they don't really like each other.
Really? You do the plug-in?
Yeah. The cats are mostly in the basement, so I put it down there, and they just scratch a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Does the
so-
dog do anything about that?
No, the dog is so he will just if the cats come by him, he just goes
Yeah.
like he doesn't bark or bite
Just
them.
does
He
the
just
lips.
like
It's a little warning. Yeah.
Yeah. and I just have to be like stop that. You know? Yeah. So because the cats like to hide and try to ambush
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah. They'll do that.
Yeah.
Well, that's
funny.
very interesting about the anxiety.
So yeah, never thought anything I have to deal with. So,
Yeah.
but we're gonna figure it out eventually.
One dog, little Labrador mix Bailey. She's cool as can be.
Aw.
Cool as can be.
You
I
want
love
some
she
cats?
looks at animals.
You want 2 cats?
Fia's got cats. What's some cats?
The 7 are indoor, but the ones outside, they want to come in, but
Yeah.
that's enough.
Yeah.
The 7 cats and 2 dogs are good.
I think little kittens are the cutest.
Oh, they are the cutest.
They are so cute. Look at Sky saying no. You don't think they're cute?
They are.
But when they
They
get
are.
bigger,
Don't
they
be fooled.
Yeah, they grow up.
They little attitudes like, don't touch me
Yeah.
today, but tomorrow you can.
Yep.
And I'm not sure what day it is.
Yep.
Right.
So,
Keep you on your toes.
They
But when we do live stream rehearsals or FaceTime for Nancy sometimes, and Fia's cats will come into rehearsal. I love it, especially when you had that little kitten that one time. I was like, "How's the baby?"
The Siamese one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Gandalf.
Do you sing to your cats?
My poor cats. I do everything. I dress up those poor cats.
Aw.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Sing to them, make them dance.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
did you dress them up for Halloween?
We bought them hats. One was a flower. One was a ghost. One was a unicorn.
Oh my goodness.
It's bad. It's bad. It's so bad. And one had there was a preemie outfit for sale. And it was a pair of overalls.
Oh my god.
So I kind of put one of my cats in it.
Front
And,
legs.
oh no.
It was in it.
Oh.
That's amazing.
Oh, she was in it. It was interesting. I'll have to put that back online, but she was not happy. You should see her little face. She was like,
Did she just fall over? Because I had one cat when she had surgery because she wouldn't wear a comb. We had to get her a surgical suit,
Oh my god.
and we put her in one, and she didn't like it. She just fell over and just laid there like this,
stuck.
traumatized, frozen. So we had to like change the suit, and she still hated it, but she would move around in that one. But yeah, I was never good. She was just like one of those fainting goats.
Yes, exactly.
That's what my old cat did with because we were trying to walk my cat with the dog that I had on the leash, and he would just flop.
Yeah.
He would just flop, and I could drag him.
Yeah.
He would not move.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, if you run away, you run away. But he would go on walks with us when we first moved here without the leash, and he would just stick with us. He just wanted to come on the walks, and he would just come right back.
Cat would do that.
Yeah, we would let him out all the time.
Yeah.
My neighbor's cat would do that. She would walk her dog, and the cat
Cat would go
The
along.
cat come
Yeah.
along. Yeah.
around.
Our cats are terrified of outside.
The ones I have now are like I tried
Yeah.
to make them catio cats, and they were like, I know what you're trying to do. They're like,
Oh,
you're not
like
gonna
to
let
stay
me
here,
in.
please.
Like I'll say, like I'll open I can leave the door wide open while I'm bringing groceries in and stuff. They will just sit there. Like I'm not falling for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will just sit there.
Baby, my
A
dog
food
would
bowl is in here.
Yeah. Like, I'm not
bring
dumb.
here. Little bed is in
Yeah.
here. We got everything we need. We're not
Exactly.
falling for that.
Welcome back to Cat Talk.
I
Yes. Conversations that matter about cats.
know. You've reached the cat hour.
This has been great, guys.
It has
This
been.
has.
Yeah.
I have been so impressed with how you two came together and the amazing work. I mean, it's incredible. Like, I don't even know what to expect in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
It's
Gonna
exciting.
see what happens next.
Yes. Yes. The doors are wide open for that.
Yes.
So I'm
Anything
very-
else we should know about other than the performance in January for either of you?
Do you have any other appearances coming up?
No.
Okay.
That's it.
Afia, what's the situation with the Johnson City Community Theater right now?
Well, there are talks of some kind of winter play, and they're looking for actors, volunteers, and people to come in and just help them get back into the swing of things, because they were the longest running community theater in the United States.
Wow.
Until they closed recently, had to close that building.
And the building closed because of facility itself?
The facility itself,
Okay,
It's
yes.
a lot of work.
lot of work
Yeah.
needed. So there, hopefully, in the very near future, there will be another building and more things to come. So just
Yeah, I hope
Is
so
there-
too.
look out.
Is there anything the community can do to help this along? Donations? What can,
I'm sure they'll take your donation.
right?
Yes. Well, I'm not sure if it's still on the website. It's johnsoncitycommunitycenter.com, but JCCT All Stars is a Facebook group. And-
JCTT?
JCCT,
CT. All Stars.
yes. And they just put out the call. There's several groups, though. There's, I forget the name, but there's several Tri-Cities theater groups that they come in and make announcements on as well.
Okay.
So I'll try to share some of those on my page.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it'd be good to see them come back because they do such good work. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
and they do more experimental work than a lot of community theaters do, because
Really?
a lot of community theaters, like, this is their audience, this is what they like, we're going to sing Rodgers and Hammerstein, which no shame in that, but I always appreciated how Johnson City Community Theater was willing to push the envelope.
Yes.
Right.
So
Right. When's the last play? What was the last play they did? Has it been a while?
they did Grease, but they did that for like Freedom Hall, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so they are doing things, but just not in that building.
Right.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And is there any intent to renovate that building, or it's just so?
Well, the building it was owned, that we know of, by ETSU.
Oh.
So I'm not sure where it stands now or what they're going to do with it, but JCCT is looking for a venue, a permanent house.
Yeah.
What building was it?
Wow.
Where was this?
It's
It was downtown. Yeah,
Downtown.
it's past
Maple.
Columbus Powell.
past Columbus
Yeah.
Johnson City Central Schools.
It's near my house.
Yeah, 600 Maple Street.
It was a church,
Is what
right?
It was.
It was a church, yeah.
Mhm.
It's on a road that I very seldom go to,
Yeah.
but I know where it is.
Yeah.
But it's one of those, don't have a reason to go down there unless I'm going to the play or
Yeah.
on beyond. And
Yeah.
I can get the on beyond this way.
Yeah.
Right.
It's one of those kind of roads.
Before we close out, I wanted to ask Afia if she would do her Ursula laugh for us.
Yes, let's hear this. First, let's open it. So, do you remember watching the movie Little Mermaid?
Yeah.
Do you know Ursula?
She's my favorite character.
Can I tell you a surprise? Which is why you are in a space of the most amazing people. She played Ursula in a play. She was the first woman of color to ever play that role. Is that cool? Do you want to go shake her hand? I
She's super cool.
It's nice to meet you.
How about that? Now she may do the Ursula laugh right now. Are you ready? You ready? Okay. Let's see.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. It's gonna be real.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome!
That was great. Oh my goodness.
Yay!
Oh my goodness. That's awesome.
Fabulous.
So cool.
We need to make sure we
I'm glad
get
we got
pictures
that.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing
I'm
pictures.
writing a song for a musical right now.
Are you writing it right?
How awesome is that?
Amazing.
Look, Brittany's kids.
I
Boy, this
know.
one-
Wow.
So, are you going to sing this song for us?
I'm actually making a play with my friend Julia, and if our play gets chosen, we're gonna do it at our school.
Oh,
And me and Julia are gonna be the directors.
that's exciting.
What is
that
your
is
play
huge.
called? Love your shirt.
I'm the lonely girl.
The Lonely Girl. That's great.
She
Can
has
you
the
tell us
whole
what
thing
it's about?
it. Yeah.
It's about this girl that when she's about to be queen, she's about to get crowned king. There was this magical thunderstorm that made a tornado that picked up the princess, and then when it placed her down, she was in a forest, and then she found this town that had no one in it, and then there were these people, and then she saw these people, and then she said, "Where is everybody?" And then they said, "He's coming, and then that's where the song starts.
Oh.
Nice.
And the villain that I'm thinking Ray Lutzer is kind of like the bad guy from Wish with Eugene mixed in, kind of.
From Rapunzel.
Okay.
Or Tangled. Yeah.
That is fabulous. You have thought this out completely.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see this play.
Is everyone writing a play? Or certain
they're writing
groups?
their own play, but then
Miss Har's gonna pick?
Miss Har's gonna pick one, but we may not even do the play because our substitute teacher said the parents and Miss Har's been thinking about doing a play.
Oh, okay.
Well, if your play is picked, I want an invite.
Me too.
Yep.
Yes, I want an invite. Let me know. I'll be there.
Cool.
Right? That's fabulous.
Okay, we're gonna say bye.
We are going to say
And we can
bye.
stop recording and then we can talk.
Well, folks, thank you for joining us tonight. Brittany,
I made it eventually. Yes. I made it eventually. This is great though. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you to you folks for joining us, and thanks to the folks listening. Have a good one.
Bye.
Peace out.